Hello, welcome to my channel and welcome to another in my series of Neuro Pilates classes. Today we're going to be focusing on the cerebellum, and this is located at the back of the skull right above the neck. It looks like this orange area right here, just at the bottom. Now it's responsible for our posture, our coordination, our balance, and our ability to remain upright against gravity. It has two sides, a left and a right, and we tend to be more dominant in one side than another. So in this class, we're going to be working on exercises for people who have a left weak side or a right dominant side, which is me. We're going to test you and see, and if you find out that you are one of the few people who is left dominant and right side weak, then you will need to do the next video. So how do we test? We take our arms out in front of us. This is one of a few tests. And we're going to be rotating from the shoulder. Our palms are going to flip up and down. So the movement is from the shoulder. And I'd like you to go as fast as you can. And just feel which arm is harder to control. And I can see right away that that is my left arm. It's really floppy. And so I know that I am left side weak. Now, most people are right side dominant. So this is for the majority of people. All right, equipment for today's class. You're going to need a ball that is really important or something round that you can squeeze. It might be helpful to have a little blank pillow or a block for your head. We're going to be doing side lying exercises today, and you might need a TheraBand for doing the rollbacks that we did in the last class to assist you if you knew that was an issue. The other thing you might need is a blanket, and that's going to help you to have support for your lower back and also for your spine as we're rolling. All right, let's go to the mat and get started with our practice today. So one of the key things that we do in Neuro Pilates, and I'm introducing today, is neural testing. And so what we want to do is find a place in the body where there's a bit of pain or tension or lack of mobility, and we want to test it now, do an exercise, and then see how the nervous system responds. If the nervous system is enjoying it, if it's good for the body, it will create less tension. It will be easier to do the test next time. And if the nervous system doesn't like it, then it will be the same, maybe, or worse. So you'll have less mobility. So try and find something in your body. Sometimes this movement for the shoulder, you can find people get a bit tight in here. Maybe it's somewhere in your neck that feels a little tight. It might be rolling down if your hamstrings are tight and you're kind of here. That might be a good thing to test. For me, I'm going to do this shoulder stretch. So I'm going to take my arms out and see if they increase or decrease after I do the exercise. So we're going to start by taking the ball in our hand and squeezing it, and we're going to do some saccades. So there's several eye exercises, 2 eye exercises that we do to stimulate the cerebellum. Saccades is one of them. So let's start by finding a focus for our eyes and then start to flick your eyes up and down while squeezing the ball. And just go as quickly or as slowly as feels okay for you. And then stop. So now we're going to retest that place where you had some tension or tightness and just see, is there more space or less? I can feel more space. Okay, so that means that my nervous system liked that exercise and it was okay for me. All right, so we're going to add on a little challenge of balance, and we're going to do this at the end of the class too and see how you are. So squeezing the ball in your left hand, because you're all right side dominant like me. Lift your right foot off the floor and see if you can maintain steady balance. Again, gazing at something in front of you to keep the eyes still will make that easier. Really feel like your foot is pushing down into the floor, and then see how easy it is for you to balance. Now, if you find that this is quite easy for you and you want to progress the exercise, then you could add some saccades, okay? But if standing on that foot was already challenging enough, then just stay and balance a little longer here. Remember, it's helpful to have a chair nearby. If your balance is something that is a struggle, then that can give you some extra support. Good. So just flicking the eyes. I'm feeling a bit wobbly now as I do this. All right, good. Okay, so let's put the ball down. One more exercise we're going to do for our eyes is called conversion. And it looks like this. Take your left thumb out, because we're working left side. Gaze at your thumb, and then start to bring it closer to your nose until it goes double. And then take it out and away from you again. Slowly bring the thumb toward the nose. Stop when you see it go double, and then take it out again. So I like to exhale as I bring my thumb in, and inhale as I go out. Do whatever feels good for you. If you don't want to use your thumb, you can use a pen instead. Good. So the eyes are moving into the center and out. And this simple exercise, conversion, is activating your cerebellum. Good. Let's just do one more. Okay, let's get onto the mat and do some Pilates exercises and weave in some of our neuromuscular exercises as we go. So standing with the ball in your hand, left hand, we're going to start to do some movement. So I'd like you to do a figure of 8. And only go as quickly as you can maintain a nice, smooth, fluid control. Now, the left cerebellum responds better to spiraling circular movements. The right cerebellum likes other movements. So today we're focusing on these kind of movements. Can you go in the opposite direction now? Again, whenever your arm feels super tired, then take it down and rest, and then come back in when you're ready. Lost it there for a second. Good. All right, so that's a nice activation started. Just take a moment to rest. And then we're going to do an infinity sign. So we're going to move sideways. You can make these as big or as small as you like. Just make it a little one right here or sweeping. See how your shoulder feels. So this is really good for activating all of the muscles around the rotator cuff as well. Keeping a nice squeeze on that ball. Let's go the opposite direction now. Cerebellum is one of my favorite classes to do because I think, when you go to a gym, you always work both sides of your body the same. And it doesn't make sense really to lift, 2 bicep weights when your left is weaker than your right. It's good to isolate, but we often forget to do that. So in this class, take a rest. We get to work just on our weak side, which I think is great. Okay, we're going to put the ball down on the floor and we're going to come to the back of our mat and we're going to do a couple of roll downs. So standing nice and tall, lifted through the crown of the head, feet firmly pushing into the mat. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, start to curl down, chin to chest, round, bend the knees whenever you need to come down and just hang here for a moment. Again, if you have high blood pressure, just let the knees and elbows touch so you have more support. Head is heavy, relaxed. Take a breath in to prepare. And as you exhale, start to roll back up again. Oh, they feel so good. All right, one last one and we'll stay down this time. So deep breath in. Exhale all the way down. And start to walk out onto your mat. So we're going to do a little bit of spinal mobility. As you know, I love doing these cat-cow movements, but today we're going to do something that looks more like a barrel. So I'd like you to press your left rib cage out toward the left side, round your back like an angry cat. Press your right rib cage out to the right, and then let the belly drop. And so when you connect all of those movements together, you get this nice barrel flowing movement. Good. And just notice how that feels. And if you don't like this, just do the cat-cow movements. Let's go in the opposite direction now. Okay, good. Now, we're going to add a couple of eye saccades here. So I'd like you to stare at keep the head in the middle nice and still, and start to flick the eyes from baby finger to baby finger as you gaze from side to side. And doing that as slowly or as quickly as feels okay for you. I find side to side movement so much easier than up and down, and I think that's because we read that way. It's how we read. So our eyes are much more used to going side to side than up and down. Okay, let's imagine that you've got this tray of pink champagne flutes on your sacrum here, in the flat part of your back, and you're going to maintain that balance as you extend your left leg out behind you. Good, pointing the foot. Feel the weight pushing into your hands. Make sure that your wrists are under your shoulders. Good. Keep a nice steady flow of breath and feel that weight. And then slowly release the leg, keeping those drinks still. Transfer more weight into the hands and left knee and extend the right leg just for balance to begin. Good. Thinking about those little bubbles exploding above your back. Nice. And then release. Okay, so now we're going to start to do some movements with the left leg. So as you push into the right knee, extend that left leg out, and keeping the stability of your pelvis and hips, I'd like you to start to draw a number 8 with your foot. So you're moving from your hip. It's like you have a paintbrush between your toes, and you're painting a nice, thick number 8. And just think about what color yours is. Mine's black for some reason. Good. And keep a nice flow of breath. Remember, the body needs oxygen to fire the muscles to do what we're asking them to do today. Think about keeping the hips very still. Go in the opposite direction now. That's it. Just a couple more. And again, if you need to rest, just come down anytime into a child's pose. Good. Release that leg. The tray of drinks disappears and you slide back into child's pose. So just rest your elbows. Maybe you make a little pillow for your head if it's not quite touching the floor, and let your hips descend towards your heels. Full breath into the back of your lungs as your upper back expands, and then let it go. One more. And release. Lovely. Okay, so now we're going to do an add-on for this. So we're going to imagine that tray of champagne flutes is back again. We're going to extend the left leg out, but this time, if you wish, you can extend the right arm as well. Now this is a progression, so if that feels too much, just keep both hands on the floor. So we're going to start to do the figure of 8 again with the leg. Get that started, keep the hips super still, and then start to do your figure of 8 with your hand. Good. And that might be super challenging. I'm feeling like I've got my foot going. There we go. Now I feel like the two of them are moving together. Good. And again, what's happening here is the cerebellum is responsible for our posterior chain of muscles. So we're activating all of the back muscles, the hamstrings right now. Go the opposite direction. Again, rest whenever you need to. And so working on our back muscles, back of the body, is a lot of the focus for today. Good. Okay, and release. That tray of drinks disappears and you come back down into a child's pose. One last time. Full breath in and full breath out. All right, bring yourself up. Come to sit on your side, and we're going to extend our legs out in front of us. So again, you might need to have a blanket underneath you, and certainly we're going to be going down onto the floor afterwards for our roll down. So that would be a good time to put that blanket in place if you're going to be using it. There we go. It also gives your hips a little more height. You can always have your hands behind you. So looking at your feet, start to pump them down and up. And just put your hands on your thighs, and you can feel how all the muscles in your legs activate when you curl your toes up. And they relax when you point your toes down. Good. Now, keeping the right leg doing that movement, I want you to start to circle your left foot. So all these spiraling movements, again, activating the cerebellum. And we're working on the left cerebellum. So just see how easy it is or not. Change direction to keep the feet doing different things. Good. Okay, let's just drum the legs and release. See if you can start drumming with the left leg. Feels a little funny to try and drum with the left leg. Okay, good. So now we're going to start doing our roll downs. So I'd like you to have a ball in your left hand. That is, unless of course you require a TheraBand to help you to go down, then you'll have to hold the TheraBand with both hands. So starting with yourself in a nice letter I shape. Again, you can always bend your knees if the lower back is being pulled. Start to take a nice, long, tall breath in. And as you exhale, squeezing that ball in your left hand, roll back onto your jean back pockets, a letter J, and then inhale back up to a nice straight back. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, roll back into letter J, maybe coming a little further down to a C shape. Inhale back up again. Squeezing the ball, start to roll down a little bit more. Finding that place, using those long, strong core muscles holding you as you start to mobilize your spine, and then maybe coming all the way down to the ground, taking the hands behind you. Exhale, start to roll back up. Oh, and I've got mine in the wrong place. That's why I flicked there. I needed a little further back to help me. Good. Exhale, roll into your J, then your C, and then come down. Nice. So you want your blanket kind of in the middle of your back, and it will help you to come up. Good. Couple more of these. Slowly exhale. Round, 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 round. But imagine you've got this ball between your chin and your chest. That's it. Good. Last one, we're going to come down and stay. Squeeze the ball, roll down, and stay. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to bend our knees, and we're going to start to activate I'm going to take my blanket away because I like to have my pelvis flat on the floor, but keep yours if you need it. Now we're going to start with our pelvic tilts. So again, remember that neutral position, and then imagine that cherry tomato below your lower back, or that cup of tea that you're spilling over your belly button. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, press down. I like to have my fingers on my pelvic bones just to feel that rocking motion of my pelvis. Exhale. Good. Keep the buttocks soft and relaxed. And then maybe move your fingers into the middle and just feel the firmness that you're creating. Those deep transverse abdominis muscles activating a little bit as you press down. Okay, so making sure that your feet are under your knees, we're going to transition into a bridge. So take your ball into your left hand, keep it squeezing. Take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, squash that tomato. And then as you inhale, start to lift yourself up into a bridge position. I like to roll my shoulders down a little bit. Keep that tennis ball distance between your chin and your chest. You can just check since you have a ball in your hand, and feel your hips lifting up. So activating the whole back chain of muscles now as we do this pose. Good. And then when you're ready, start to slide down vertebra by vertebra toward the mat. Good. Let's repeat that again. Inhale into this neutral position. Exhale, press the lower back, squash the tomato. And then as the breath in comes, lift up into this gentle ski slope position. Good. Now I want you to imagine that you're pulling your heels back towards your shoulders. And you might feel an instant fire of your hamstring muscles as you do that. So just hold that. Keep squeezing the ball with your left hand. And feel all of those back chain of muscles start to charge. Keep breathing nice, steady, relaxed breaths. Good. And then slowly roll yourself down. So this time we're going to bring our feet side by side and take our knees apart. And we're going to do the same thing. Breathe in to prepare. As you exhale, press the back down. Feel the tailbone lift. Inhale, lift yourself up. So you might feel there's been a change in the muscles that you're activating in your glutes in particular, having your feet together and knees apart. Squeezing the ball, little pulses if you can. Holding that, try to drag those heels back towards your hip, but towards your shoulders. That's good. Again, come down anytime you need to. Rest when it feels like you've done enough. Listen to your body. That's it. Good. And then slowly peel down and rest. Final one. Knees together, feet side by side. Take a breath in to prepare. Exhale. Let the tomato squash start to put more weight into the feet, lifting up. Now, it's not easy to keep those knees together. You may feel a little quivering sensation. That's just your inner hip muscles, your adductors firing up. They have to help you to keep your knees together. Keep squeezing that ball. Pull the heels towards you. Squeeze the knees towards each other. I know this is hard. I know it's not easy. It's all good stuff. Stay safe. Stay strong. Keep breathing. Excellent. And then slowly roll down. All right. So let's just give the knees a little hug and a squeeze. Good. And relax. Okay, so bring the feet back to the floor now. So now we're going to do an exercise in two options. The first one is have your fingers resting on your pelvic bone and extend your left leg out in line with your right knee. And then I want you to move that leg in figure of eights. Okay. So keeping your pelvis super still. So if you close your eyes, you might be able to notice little movements, detect them more easily. And again, imagine what color you're painting your number 8. And then let's start to go the opposite way. I find it harder to go one way than another way. Maybe you notice the same thing. That's it. Good. Trying to make it as smooth as possible. That's the key. Don't have to make it big. Just make it smooth. And maintain that core focus, core strength, core stillness. The muscles in the core have to work to hold you as you add the weight of your leg. Good. And rest. All right. Again, if you wish and you know that you're still, you can hold the ball with your left hand. The progression for this pose is to be in bridge pose and do the same movement. So either stay with your hips on the floor or take a breath in to prepare. Let the lower back press down, imprint, and then start to rise. Now, keeping that weight in the right foot, lift the left leg into the same position and start to do your figure of 8 here. Nice and slow. There is no rush. And even if you have your buttocks just 1 inch off the floor, that is enough to activate a massive number of muscles in your back, in your glutes, in your hamstrings. That's it. Good. And then go the opposite way. Maybe you do it 5 times one way and 5 times the other way. Just decide what feels okay for you, but make sure to do both directions. Good. I can really feel my thighs working on my right side. Excellent. And then release. So hug the knees and just massage the back. Okay, let's come over to lie on our right side. So we have our left in the air, and this is where a cushion can be nice so that the head is supported. Now I want you to bend your bottom leg and have your top leg extended out straight, yeah? So that's my little kickstand. I want you to feel underneath your waist. So there's this nice space here. I could put the ball underneath there, maybe not, but it's certainly my hand, or at least a piece of paper you could put underneath so that you're not lying flat. Because feel that when you lift your lower waist up, it activates your core muscles, yeah? And in Pilates, everything happens from the powerhouse of the core, and then we add weight through the limbs. So let's get the core sorted out, and then place your hand on your hip. I want you to keep this super still as you start to move your leg in an infinity sign. So we're going to be going out to the sides. And again, close your eyes whenever it helps you to visualize what you're doing, to bring more fluidity and smoothness to these movements. Good. So just letting the foot paint this infinity sign, feeling what's going on in your body, keeping that lift of your ribs and waist away from the mat. When you feel like you've done enough, do the other side. And continue a nice steady flow of breath. I really like the side lying poses. This is the first one we've done in the series, so I hope that you're enjoying this, even if it's hard. All right, and rest. So just bend that top leg and give it a nice little smack. Okay, and let's come to lie on our front. Ball is to the side. Make a little pillow for your head and just rest. Take your feet out to the edges of your mat with the front of your feet pushing down firmly into the mat so you've got a good anchor. All right, we're going to move into our normal goalpost position. I'm going to add on this week. So forehead to the floor. Exhale to prepare. As you inhale, start to press into your lower arms to lift your chest away from the ground. Exhale down. Now remember what we learned last week about your eyes. So the eyes tell the brain what is going on in the outside world because the brain is cut off, as is the rest of the body in darkness. So the eyes are very important. So as you lift your chest, look up with your eyes, and as you lower, look down. Now, if you wish, you can start to lift the arms as one unit away from the ground. Inhale to lift, exhale to land. So you're hovering your arms off the mat. And you'll feel that that activates a lot more of those posterior chain muscles that we are controlled by the cerebellum. Good, one more. Nice. Okay, now extend your arms in front of you, palms together, rest the head. We're going to learn the dart pose today, and we're going to add some leg movement, but we're only going to move one leg. Let's get there in a second. So exhale to prepare. As you inhale, I want you to bend your arms back into that hover position, and then exhale, extend them forward. Inhale, look up, elbows in line, exhale. Now, if you wanted to progress this into the full dart pose, you would sweep the arms back and you would bring them forward and rest. It's really important that you rest in the extended position because when we re-engage the muscles, we activate more. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Now, we're going to add, if you wish, a little movement of that left leg and right leg. We'll just do the two of them this time. Feels a bit weird just to do one. Good. So posterior chain, everything working now, pushing against gravity. Again, rest whenever you need to. Keep the back of your neck long. Keep your eyes looking forward. I know I sound like a broken record. That's it, lovely. One more time. And rest. Shake your hips. I like to bend my knees and just sway my lower legs from side to side. It feels really nice after doing work on the back muscles. All right, so let's take our hands under our shoulders, draw the belly in toward the spine, and push yourself up to do a little push-up. And then we're going to come to sit on our side. So the right leg in front, left leg back. You're going to take your left hand to your knee, take your hand behind your head, and as you exhale, twist. Gaze up and gaze down. So this is our mermaid pose. Just mobilizing our thoracic spine or the upper back area, which can really help with our posture. That's it, good. Let's switch around to the other side. Knee to the opposite foot. Hold on to the ankle that's behind you. Hand behind your head, touching your cerebellum, and then lower. So remember, cerebellum behind, just above the neckline, either side. Good. Exhale as you lower. Inhale. Let your eyes follow, if it feels okay, your arm as it moves. All right, let's come back onto our hands and knees. We're going to tuck our toes. We're going to start to bring ourselves into a forward fold. Take a moment to rest here. Take a breath in to prepare. And then exhale, slowly come up to stand. Now, let's retest our body and see how we are doing. So whatever you did in the beginning, remember mine was this one, I'm going to retest and see. Woo! So I have a lot more mobility now here than I did in the beginning. I can feel my shoulders just feel more relaxed, more free, more open. So let's go back to our balance exercise and retest that now and see how we're doing. So weight into your left foot, bring the right foot off the floor, and just notice a point in front of you that you can bring your attention to, quieting the mind. Good, feeling tall and lifted through the crown of the head and rooted down through the foot. Good, and just see how it feels. Is it easier now or not? So let's add on a couple of progressions. Remember, we did one in the beginning, which was the saccade of the eyes, but let's do one with a ball this time and just see how it feels. So lifting that right foot off the floor, we're just going to throw the ball up and down. So this is an eye saccade because we're looking up and down, right? But it's a little more challenging than just doing eye saccades because you're asking your left hand to catch this ball, and you may normally catch with your right. So lots of activation for that cerebellum on the left side today. Good, and I'm feeling, I was feeling really good until I dropped it. All right, so we're going to do one last conversion exercise to finish today. So I'd like you to take one thumb out and one thumb close and have them in line with each other as best you can. If you close one eye, you can line them up. Now, I'd like you to stare at your front thumb and notice in your peripheral, front vision, that your back thumb has actually turned into how many? Yeah, 2. And then move your attention to your back thumb and notice in your peripheral vision that the front thumb has turned into 2. Good. So this is another way of doing this conversion. We're seeing double. So just move between front thumb and back thumb, allowing the eyes to just see that double as they go. And then dropping your right thumb, take a breath in, bring that thumb towards you. And you may notice now that maybe you're able to bring the thumb a little closer. I wear one contact lens, so for me coming in close, it's hard to come close because one eye sees close, one eye sees far, so they get a bit confused when I do this. But hopefully if you're wearing your glasses or don't have one contact, it'll be easier. All right, that's our class today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, please send them to me. I'm happy to share information with you. I hope that you feel a bit more balanced now, that you'll have improved posture, coordination, that your body feels very tall and upright. And this week, I suggest that you try and brush your teeth with your left hand for the week and just see it will get easier because you're firing more neurons to your left cerebellum and it will respond and get better. Thank you so much. See you next time.